Come on up.
You're the end capper in the middle. One of the two.
All right, let's be centered. Yeah.
That's a big impact.
Oh, nice.
This outfit is giving me Easter eggs, but I love you all for not saying it. Thank you.
Come on up. Thanks, folks. Well, thank you for being here tonight. Last night was a good night. The county voters said enough is enough. Prop B was bad. Voters agreed it was bad for the county. It was bad for the operations of county government. It's bad for the reputation of a county that I'm really proud to serve. And it's really time to get back to work on the issues that have a real impact on our county residents. The legislative branch of county government should be working on policy issues that make the county better, to make it work better for everyone. The council's chief responsibility is appropriating funds and improving contracts that ensure that the residents get the great services that they have come to expect. The council is also charged with approving the budget that supports the diverse range of services that St. Louis County offers. Our residents have told us that public safety is their top priority. It's the top priority for me, and it's the top priority for the county council. The expectation is that we provide these critical services, and we provide them for all of our residents. So let me share with you some of the information that may not be widely known. The police headquarters, the jail, the courts building, they're all powered by a power plant in the basement of this building, a single power station. However, without significant safety renovations, in this building over the next few years, we may have to disconnect that power supply. We may have to create independent power supply for each building. The building that we're now in is considered the headquarters of county government, and it's not in compliance with the Clayton Fire Code. In 2016, we were given a 12-year notice that the fire code would change and our building would have to be sprinkled. And now that deadline is here. It's 2 years and 8 months away. We've repeatedly met with the council and we sent them countless communications. And the council has approved millions of dollars to hire a consultant to provide options on what we could do with our headquarters and what we could do with a power supply to our public safety footprint in St. Louis County. Legislation in my office sent down in 2023 gives those recommendations from the consultant to the council. And unfortunately, it sat on their agenda untouched. And there are other bills that also would allow us to move forward with the plan for public safety and our critical services. There have been multiple communications, multiple hearings. The work that we would do to bring this building into compliance can't even be done by the end of 2027, when we have to stop conducting public business in this building. Yesterday, I met with the Clayton Fire Marshal and sent a subsequent letter outlining my concerns about the potential risks to public safety, to visitors to our county, and to the firefighters who might have to fight a fire in this building. We shouldn't be in this building now, and we certainly shouldn't be in the building if it's not safe. We both agree on that. But I want to understand, I need clarity around whether or not we could have access to the power plant in the basement of this building, or whether or not we can get access to the emergency communications antenna that is on the roof of this building. We need to understand that we can get power to the courthouse, the jail, to the court system. The emergency communications antenna for the entire St. Louis region is on the roof of this building. We would need periodic access to that antenna to maintain its operations and to maintain it for emergency communications. At the end of the day, the work needed to bring this building into compliance with a fire suppression system, which includes installing sprinklers, removing asbestos that's encased throughout the building. The minimum cost for that is $100 million. And that's based on estimates that were given to us by our consultants, the consultants that were approved by the council. But all of that work, it doesn't address the leaky roof, the leaking windows, the broken elevators, and the cracks in the foundation wall, or the outdated power plant that provides the important power supply to our public safety footprint, the police station, the courts, and the jail. My office plans to ask the county council to sign off on a request for proposal for a formal bidding process so that we can find a responsible way to renovate this building, or to find another source, another place for us to conduct business in St. Louis County. We will, regardless of whether we're in this building or not, we're going to need to rent space for the next 5 years. The 600 employees who work in this building while construction and renovation is underway are going to need a place to work, and we're going to continue looking for that. We're going to be creative and we're going to be fiscally responsible, but we're also going to make sure that our employees and the public are safe. One thing that the council and my office can agree on is that this building is in bad shape. We've had county council members refer to it as a dump, and I think they're right. We've duct taped this building together for 20 years. 20 years of deferred maintenance on a 50-year-old building leaves us with a very expensive problem. This building's at its end of life, and if you refuse to invest in something, it will absolutely fall apart. Imagine if you didn't make any investments in your home for 20 years. We can't risk the power going out to the jail. We have 1,200 residents there. If we had no heat, no light, no ability to prepare food, that is a major catastrophe. The juvenile detention center is in the courthouse. We need power to the courthouse. We need power to the crime lab in the police department. The safety of this building and making sure we have a power supply to our public safety footprint, that's one of our biggest priorities. But the safety and the reliability of this building is just one of the issues that we have to address. Addressing the long-term budget gap is another. While we have reserves, we can't continue spending more than we bring in. And I'll be working with the council to make new revenue a priority in next year's budget. Last year, I signed collective bargaining agreements with the unions representing police officers. Our police department, our police officers, they deserve to be paid well. And the council agreed to those pay raises, and they agreed to pay them from the RAM settlement funds. That was the right thing to do, but that's not a sustainable path forward. I also intend to ask the council to approve raises for our non-police employees. We did do a pay study a couple of years ago, and the council and I are in agreement that our non-police officer employees need raises as well. And I'll be sending legislation down to the council at the end of the month for those. Earlier this year, Forbes magazine recognized St. Louis County as one of the best places to work in America. We were the only government in Missouri on the list. The list was based on employee surveys, and our employees, for the most part, have said that they're happy to work for us. But we do know, and our council agrees, that they need to be paid better. No matter how much you like your job, the tug of better pay somewhere else is always there. We're the largest county in the state. We have 4,000 employees and $1 billion budget. And we have strong department directors to keep our business flowing smoothly. And that's why I invited them here today. It's time for a reset. It's time for our council to let the directors do their jobs. And I want to thank the department directors who come to work here each day with a singular mission to provide the best services possible. And I ask the county council to stand with them. let the directors lead, let them continue making St. Louis County a place that we're all proud of. And I look forward to resuming my weekly meetings with our council members and getting back to the work that our county residents expect us to be doing, to be making the tough decisions. And I want to thank the voters again for supporting our mission and our directors. In St. Louis County, we could certainly do with a few less gotcha moments, less hijinks, and I'm committed to moving forward and getting the work done. And that's really the message from across the state. People are concerned with what's happening at the national level. They're concerned with chaos, and they have little patience for conflict. It's time to move forward, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Dr. Page, you'll start with property. The county spent $500,000 in ramp settlement money, on that proposition. The county council wastes $500,000 in settlement money.
Well, I would have preferred not to have this battle over Proposition B for the past 2 months. We could have been doing other things. It's done, it's over, and it's time to move forward.
You mentioned $100 million in renovations for this building. Is the county better off building a new building instead of trying to retrofit the current one?
Well, that's a tough decision. Do we build something that'll last us for 50 or 70 years and make that investment, or do we do the bare minimum to keep going? And that's a budget priority that the county council is absolutely in the middle of, and we'll have to make that decision together.
You mentioned that there's asbestos in this building.
Right.
Is it safe for the 600 workers to be in this building?
Well, the asbestos is safe to be around as long as we don't open it up. But if we open it, nail something in the wall, or try and take down a wall, or try and get into the walls, that becomes a big problem.
Last question I've got for you. You mentioned new revenue a priority. You mentioned raises. Does that mean increased taxes in St. Louis County?
Well, we will eventually have to have either a use tax or roll up the property taxes, which we haven't done in 40 years. I think we could close the budget gap with the use tax. I know there's a lot of support on the county council to put that use tax on the ballot, and I would like to see that happen. It would have been better to have that conversation in this April election instead of the one over Proposition B, but this is the path we took. I think it's time to regroup, focus on the things we agree on, and move forward.
That $100 million price tag to renovate the building, and is that the one last time we spoke about this, a year ago or something like that, or could that number be potentially higher with inflation and the impact of tariffs?
No, it's a little over $100 million. Well, the impact of tariffs in the supply line will push that up. We don't know what it's going to be, but $100 million to do the basic sprinkler, asbestos removal, and then put the building back together. That's the bare minimum. It doesn't address the leaky windows, the leaks in the roof, the broken elevators. It doesn't address the cracks in the foundation. That's another price tag. We have to decide, are we going to do the bare minimum to put sprinklers in this building and to kind of cripple along? Are we going to replace or do anything about the roof or the windows, which aren't going to get better? We might be able to put that off a year or two, but we're already 20 years behind on routine maintenance on this building. You can imagine if you didn't make any home repairs for 20 years, what your house would be like. There's a bare minimum price to get into compliance with the fire code. There's a thoughtful thing to do to make this building habitable. And then there's a big idea of building something that would last us 50 or 70 years and not leave us with a big bill in a year or two.
Did the Clayton Fire Marshal give you clarity on whether the county would have access to that power supply, or what is the path forward?
Well, I'm going to wait for Clayton Fire Marshal to respond. His initial expression to me was that they would want to make sure that we had access to emergency operations or radio communications tower on the roof, to make sure we have operational access to that, and that we could keep the power supply going. But I'm going to wait for his formal response before I try and say what he means.
As much as you'd like to put property behind you, does the fact that the Secretary of State's office is investigating the use of postage from your office on this, does that still give this more life?
Well, there's always going to be disparagement noise around government, whether it's the federal level or the state level or here. We've been reviewed on our education campaigns twice before, and we've been able to withstand that scrutiny. I expect the same thing to happen this time, but we'll go through the process. Filing complaints against folks during a question like this has become commonplace, and we'll just let the process work. If it continues, it continues.
I can't speak to the previous reviews, but it's my understanding with the law that as long as the educational campaign is partisan, it's okay. On one side of it, it just listed the organizations that were against Proposition B. It quoted the circuit judge whose ruling was overturned. Was this truly partisan? Or
I think
nonpartisan?
the biased ballot language obligated us to tell the voters in St. Louis County what this really meant. And current law in St. Louis County, as it's been upheld by the Court of Appeals, is that local governments are allowed to say anything they want in ballot language, however distorted and false, and there's no way to address that until after the election. So we were obligated, it was our obligation as a government to tell the county voters how disruptive Proposition B would be to the services they receive. And we fulfilled that obligation in a way that I thought complied with the law and was straightforward and told the truth.
Your relationship with Mayor-elect Kara Spencer, have you worked with her on initiatives? Have you spoken with her since you won yesterday?
Yes, I spoke to her this morning and congratulated her and told her that we stand ready to work with her in the city of St. Louis. We want her to be successful. It's very important to the region that the city is successful, and we all need to get behind the new mayor and help her get to work in leading the city of St. Louis.
You mentioned the upgrades here to the building have been years in the works. What's been the biggest roadblock that we're now 2 years from this deadline and no work has been done?
Well, it's a big decision, and it will be expensive, but the time has come to do something about this. We can't just let it. We just can't let it go anymore. There's a deadline on the fire code. We have to be out of this building. That's very real. We can't leave this for the next group of elected officials to deal with. We have to address this problem. And I think what's been the biggest barrier is it's just one of the biggest decisions that county government has made in decades. It's hard. And in America in 2025 and 2022, there's a lot of conflict in the air. It's hard to do big things and it's hard to do complex things. But we have this impending deadline. We have to be out of this building. We have to go somewhere else. We have to have a power supply for our police station, our courts, and our jail. We can't put this off any longer.
Anything else?
I have something. Hi, I'm Courtney Whiteside. I am the Director of Municipal Court here in St. Louis County. And on behalf of all of the directors, this is directly to the St. Louis County residents. Thank you so much for your vote on Prop B. We are dedicated public servants, and we do have a singular mission, and we appreciate your support on this particular proposition. And we are very excited to get back to providing the services that we were all brought on board to provide. So thank you very much, and we look forward to getting back to the grind. Thank you.
One quick question for you. The last several months, has this been sort of a cloud hanging over your head?
It's been hard, really. The last 2 months, I think, have been difficult on not just us, but our families and our loved ones and those that care about us. We're not politicians. We're moms. We're dads. We're family members. We're friends. And we all have things that are outside of here. And for this to finally come to a rest, we hope valuable lessons were learned. And we very much look forward to continuing to better communication and relationship with the council and putting St. Louis County where it needs to be. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
I think the last time we were here, you were talking with Councilman Harder about the effort to recruit federal workers to the county workforce. Is there any meaningful update on that, to your knowledge?
Yeah, we do have some information. We have had some federal workers apply. We've seen a little bit of an uptick in our applications. We continue to be a welcoming place for federal employees who are looking for a way to continue their career in public service. It's hard to say which federal employees are going to be laid off and which one are going to be brought back. There's still a lot of chaos around that, but we want people to know that St. Louis County is a great place to work. Forbes magazine has recognized us as one of the best places to work in America, and if if people want to continue a public service career, we'd like for them to come and join us. Thank you.